Well, good morning to you all. Boy, do we ever have a special treat for you today. Serena Edie, if you're watching, you'll notice there's no wind today, so we're super excited about that. Today is going to be a Q&A from the farm. So what I'm going to do here is take the top burning questions that we see come in on our Facebook, our Instagram, or our YouTube channel, and we're going to give you all the details. Let's go do chores. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No new babies this morning. Well, I think I might have spoke too soon. It's not windy, but it is raining. So that ought to make this pleasurable. All right, question number 1 comes from our Facebook page. How many eggs do you collect each day? So this morning, yesterday afternoon, I collected 24 eggs. I brought 23 of them inside because I dropped one like a complete amateur. So on average, we're between 20 to 24 eggs a day in the peak season. During the winter, that can drop down to, as low as 4 or 5, just because they don't lay eggs during the winter time very frequently. Number 2, you name all your sheep. Don't you feel bad when it's time to butcher them? So we've had this question from quite a few people actually. I wouldn't say bad, no. I mean a little bit for sure. I mean, I'm not a complete monster, but definitely very thankful that we have the opportunity to know exactly where our food comes from. We know exactly what was put into it. So it's good, clean food. The animals have had a fantastic upbringing, and so we try and give them the absolute best life they can have up until the point in time when they do become food. Okay, wow. We're gonna finish answering this question in a second. Charlotte just hit me so hard in the face, it actually blew a contact lens out of my eye and cut my cheek. So she's on timeout for now. So back to the question, naming the sheep. You'll notice all the ram lambs, they're named after British towns. Well, what's that all about? So this actually, this started with our first flock. I just got back from England. Actually, my dad had just passed away, and I'd made the decision, we're gonna get some sheep, and we got this one ram lamb, and one of them, at the time, one of the most treasured possessions I had, I still have actually, is a book called Robin of Sherwood. And it's a book that my dad got when he was a young boy from going to Sunday school. And so we actually named the ram that we had Mr. Nottingham, obviously from the Sheriff of Nottingham. And so it just kind of continued from there. Actually, all the males we've had have had English town or city names. Okay, so the next one here is, since the quarantine, have our lives changed much, and have we had to change our diets since there's been a mass meat shortage? And should people be looking at plant-based meat alternatives? Well, the answer to that is our life hasn't really changed a ton. There's been a little bit more working from home obviously happening. We've been working remotely, trying to practice good social distancing. As far as our diets, really hasn't changed much at all. We do have a good store of meat. Vegetables, I mean, that's one thing where we have to go to the grocery store to get vegetables, so we try and buy a few more at once so that we don't have to go to town as often and get that stuff. But you'll see in some of the previous videos and some of the ones to come yet, where we're trying to get a massive garden in this year, and so just reduce our reliance on going to the grocery store for vegetables, right? Sow it and grow it yourself. Plant-based alternatives. So I take no issue with anybody that has a vegetarian diet or vegan diet. If you want to grow vegetables or whatever it might be, to get away from meat, that's entirely up to you. That's your personal choice. I do take issue with when your food comes from a factory and not from a farm, right? Regardless if it's meat-based or plant-based, it should still be farmed or gardened, right? It shouldn't be processed. That's just not good for you, not healthy at all. So the next question here is, how long does it take you to do chores every day? So, well, that depends on what day of the week it is. Monday to Friday, when we both got to go to work, there is about a half an hour in the morning where I get the chickens all fed, fork some hay over to the horses, give a little bit of grain to the sheep, and then we go off to work. When we come home at the end of the day, there's probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Just again, it's a very short period of time in the morning because a lot of the prep work has been done, you know, getting the food and stuff all rationed out and mixed and everything for the morning so that we can get off to work in the morning. So it takes a little bit longer in the evening. And then we also try and do a few little projects and stuff in the evening as well. So that generally fills up our day. So on the weekends, however, you're looking at pretty much a full 8 to 10 hour day. Some days it's longer. Some days we might be looking at 16 hours. Again, it depends on what the time of year is. So right now it's our busy season with lambing and trying to prep the garden and stuff like that. And so you're seeing us get up at 5 a.m. and we'll work straight through up to about 8:30 and come in, have a bit of breakfast, and then back out again until about 11:30, come and get a bit of lunch. And if we're lucky, we might hit some supper, but we're probably we go right till sundown. So now this time of year, I think that's about 10 o'clock at night. So makes for some pretty long days. It's not just throw some seeds on the ground and come back in October, right? There's a ton of work. There's a ton of work to make this all happen. Okay, our next question. This actually recently just asked. TJ Johnson asked this question from Wembley. What is a chicken tractor? So let's go outside and take a look. Chicken tractor is it's like a portable chicken coop, and you use it to raise your chickens on pasture. Oh, it's raining out here. Lovely. We don't have one built yet. It's kind of a work in progress. So give me 1 second. Okay, over here behind the yellow tractor, you can see there's the old roof off of a carport. And so there's actually going to be a 2 foot deep, 16 foot long wall structure that goes underneath of that. And then a set of wheels and a rope we can pull it along with every day, and it'll be all netted in, and the roof will be tarped in. Now, what this allows us to do is raise all our chicks on pasture, so they get fresh grass every single day. We would ordinarily try and raise like laying hens, for instance. I'm gonna go inside, man. It's pouring rain out here. Our laying hens would be raised indoors, and then when they get a little bit larger, then they can go out and just free range. Now, why would we not want to free range our meat birds? Because we have Cornish cross hens coming just in a couple of days, actually. So we don't want to put the meat birds out free range. They just are more susceptible to predators. They're not very smart. They're just to grow as fast as they possibly can. So we want to keep them contained, protect our investment. So like one of our leghorn chickens, for instance, they can run, I think it's about 8 or 9 miles an hour. So pretty fast. That's faster than I can run. I got long legs, but I'm not a very good runner. Whereas those Cornish cross, yeah, they're, like 2 miles an hour. There's doop-a-doop-a-doop, right? They'd be coyote bait in no time. All right, last question here. We've had a ton of people ask this question, but most recently, Eric von Hertzberg asked this question. What is the story behind our farm name? So, Kirkfell Farm. What does that really mean? So, anytime somebody private messages our farm page, whether it's on one of the Facebook groups or whether it's on Instagram, they have this misconception that my name is Kirk. Definitely not. Kirkfell is actually a mountain in the Pennine Range in Cumbria, Northern England. And so that is the area of England where I actually grew up. And my dad is from there as well. So that area has had a big impact on us. Now, as I mentioned earlier, when my dad passed away, I went back to England and I spent a couple of weeks there. I revisited a lot of the places that had a big impact on me growing up as a child, or that had some type of significance to my dad during his life. So Kirk Fell is actually it's the 13th highest mountain in England, and it looks out over a lake called Wastwater, and Wastwater is it's the deepest lake in England. And so when we bought the farm here in 2017, this all happened in a matter of like a couple of days. Literally, like, we sold our house. Well, we listed our house in the morning, and it was sold in the afternoon. The person that bought it said, like, get out, we want to live in your house. So that was like good, but like, holy heck, what's going on here? A couple of days later, my dad passed away. I hopped on a plane and booked off to England, and Carmen and her parents and her brothers and sisters thankfully were able to put all of our stuff in storage. And we came back and we lived in our holiday trailer. We secured the purchase of the farm here, and we basically camped for a year in a trailer until we built the shop, and then we lived in the shop for a little bit until we got our house done. But just, you know, a few of the little things around the farm here just drew some comparisons to some of the stuff that I saw while I was back home for those couple of weeks. And so we are up on a hill here, and we look out over the lake, and then to the east we can see Saskatoon Mountain, and over to the southwest we can see the Rocky Mountains. And so it does just kind of remind me of being home amongst the fells and looking out over the lakes. And so the Lake District, if you've ever had the opportunity to go there, you'll know it is one of the absolute most beautiful areas of the world, never mind just England, right? It's absolutely gorgeous there. So yeah, Kirk Fell, that's where that comes from. Now, so okay, well, why is Kirk Fell named Kirk Fell? So fell is actually the old Norse word, or fjell is the Norse word for a hill or a mountain. So that's all the fells are named, that's where that comes from. Kirk Fell specifically is named after the Church of St. Olaf's, which is at the base of the mountain. And that little church is, I think, about 1,100 years old. It was actually constructed from the beams of a Viking longship. So it's one of the smallest churches in England. And actually, Kirk is the Norse word, and now later the Scottish people adopted this term Kirk as the word for church. So that's how that ties in together. But a really cool little church. Another little piece of history with that. So Kirk Fell is actually is kind of the birthplace of hill walking. So again, we don't do a lot of hill walking here in Canada, but it's, you know, it's a big pastime, especially in Northern England. Going out, spending an afternoon, you get some absolutely glorious views of the Lake District, of the Peak District. And yeah, so that's the history. That's why Kirk Fell Farm is named Kirk Fell Farm. Thank you very much for joining us for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the Q&A session. If you have any more questions, just either comment on the video or send us a Facebook message real quick, and we'll maybe make another video one day. We'd actually do a live farm tour, and you can ask you questions as we go around. It'd be really exciting. So thanks a lot. We will see you later.